Hello everybody. I wanted to make just another video for this chapter on sensation perception and talk about a topic that's actually a little bit controversial. I think you'll find it interesting if you haven't already read about it in the chapter, and that is subliminal advertising, perception and subliminal advertising. Now, let me define a couple of terms for you if I can. There is a concept out there called subliminal sensation. And what it refers to is this. The idea is that we talk about what's called subliminal stimuli. Subliminal stimuli is any kind of stimuli that is just below the conscious level of an individual, a consumer. All right. That means that for the most part, the consumer just does not pick up on it. The consciousness does not catch it. All right. That does happen. Things are out there that we don't pay attention to. Things are out there that does not catch our attention and so on. And a lot of times they're subliminal. They're outside of our normal threshold. Now, that's not a very controversial element. We all tend to know that there are things out there that we don't catch. But there is a concept that is very controversial, and it's called subliminal perception. Subliminal perception, as you see, is sort of the process by which anything that is outside of conscious awareness is actually detected by your unconscious. Now, you got to believe in an unconscious for this to work. But the unconscious mind, according to subliminal perception, can pick up on things that the conscious mind can't. Say that again. The unconscious mind can detect things that the conscious mind cannot. And because of that, when the unconscious picks up on it, it will turn around and sort of subtly pass that information along to the consciousness and possibly get you to buy something because all we did was influence the unconscious. All right. So, this has been a question for a while. Is it possible to subliminally plant plant subliminal messages into advertising, maybe as a way of influencing a consumer's unconscious, and therefore they don't know where the sensation to buy something comes from, but they go ahead and buy the product anyways, or at least look at it longer. Very controversial. Let me give you some examples here, okay, of subliminal advertising. As far as the different types of subliminally implanted elements, one that has been used a lot in the past are certain words. And really, to be quite honest with you, the words they try to put up there that are considered subliminal, that only the unconscious picks up on and the consciousness does not, they've tried words to flash on the screen very quickly, like buy or purchase and things like that. But one they like to use a lot, honestly, is the word sex. Now, the reason sex is used a lot is because, or has been in the past at least, is that sex is sort of a taboo word. It still is taboo. You don't put it in neon lights and flash it outside a business unless that business has a very questionable reputation. You just don't do that. The fact of the matter is that they will try to hide that word sometimes in an ad. Hide it, not make it very apparent, but hide it like in smoke or clouds or dust, and they'll hide the word in there so as to turn around and let your unconscious notice it, whereas your consciousness probably won't. Here's an example from the Pepsi company that they got charged for supposedly doing. And in this particular example, what happens is if you take these cans and you basically stack them up, it would seem that with all the lines, the retro colors, it seemed like it creates the word sex. I've always thought it created the word SFX, but people tell me that this is an example. Now, is this intentional or not? We can't necessarily prove it. Pepsi Corporation, when they were called on this, they said, we didn't do this intentionally. Until you can prove that they did it intentionally, I won't go out and say that, I'm not a conspiracy theorist and say that, they're always lying. I have to have proof of it before I prove it otherwise. But once again, here you might be able to see the word. S and the E and the X. Now, is this meant to get you all hot and bothered? And the answer is no. The concept behind placing a word like this in an ad is that, or when in stacked cans, is that it'll cause you to pay more attention to the product. You'll look at the product longer. You won't get all aroused. Really, seriously, that's not the idea. But if you increase exposure time, then that's what they're after, and they've done their job. Another thing that they like to turn around and do is to place images. And there are different types of images they will place in pictures, in magazine ads, in photos, and things like that, that are meant to be subliminal. Some of them are actually ghoulish or scary or things of that sort, because even today, once again, you're not trying to terrify your consumer, but even today, individuals still wonder about the afterlife, the supernatural, the paranormal. So to hide a ghostly image in an ad, sometimes the belief is that the unconscious will see it and pay more attention to the ad because of it. The other thing that they like to put in ads are images of a sexual nature. Okay, and I'm not obsessed with the topic. It's what they do, and so it's what they like to hide in ads once in a while. Uh, Once again, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Here's a picture of an ad of cigarettes. Okay, Benson Hedges, I think, is what that is called. And in here, there is a hidden image of a phallic symbol. A phallic symbol, let's be professional about this. A phallic symbol is the Latin word for penis, okay? And hidden in this picture is a phallic symbol. Now, once again, it's not supposed to get you aroused. It's not supposed to turn around and basically get you to rush out and buy these brand of cigarettes if you're not a smoker, but if you are, maybe you'll consider it. So take a moment and look at the ad and see if you could find the phallic symbol. Some people think it's in the chandelier over the gentleman's head, or they think it's hidden down there in the bottom left-hand corner behind the gal's dress. But in reality, that's not it. This phallic symbol is actually located in her back. All right. If you look closely, you'll see where they have photoshopped this into her back, and in a sense, the gentleman is sort of holding it. All right. This is an example of, we believe this is an example of subliminal advertising. Let me give you one more. Here you have a picture of Kentucky Fried Chicken and what they call a snacker, the KFC snacker. All right, the cost of this thing, as you can obviously see, is 99 cents, or about a buck, 1 penny away from $1. And if you look closely, there's a seemingly subliminal implant put into the ad. All right, look around the chicken sandwich there. Look around the lettuce. Do you see the dollar bill hidden in the lettuce? All right. That is purportedly an example of a subliminally implanted picture in there. All right. The idea that this thing is only $1. Now, the big question here, and this really is the $1,000,000 question, is does all this work? I mean, does this actually turn around and get customers to buy products and not know about it? And the truth of the matter is, if it does work, if subliminal advertising does work, then you're in a lot of trouble. Because if subliminal advertising actually works, all companies have to do to get you to buy a product is market to your unconscious, and then the consciousness would follow. Well, let me tell you this. There have been a lot of studies over a long period of time looking at the overall effectiveness of subliminal advertising. Does it work or not? And the studies have found, time after time, it does not work. One final note. Remember that when it comes to subliminal advertising, if you turn around and have something that is very blatant and very obvious, that is not subliminal advertising. Okay? Subliminal advertising means that the unconscious can perceive something that the consciousness cannot. And you need to keep that in mind. Okay, folks, that's all I've got for right now. All right? Hope that helps. Do take care.